Hi everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Okay, those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Terry. I am a regular user on Tapology. Probably know me best for running the Lucky Bastard game, if anything. But I thought that I'd start by making a few how-to videos on Tapology because obviously, there's always new users joining Tapology every day, and it's a great site, but it can be a very complicated one at times, especially for new users. Just give a shout out to Cool Hand Puke, who gave me the idea of making these videos because I made a few years back, but I'm going to try and make a consistent series of them, maybe about 10 videos or so overall, going over different elements of the site. This is the first one. This is just going to be a quick whistle-stop tour of the profile on Tapology, which is your main homepage. Now, obviously, there's going to be a few things I'll go over in more detail in future videos. For instance, I'm planning on making a separate video about the belt system and about rankings and about forum posts and things like that. I'll go over them in this one, but I'll go into more detail in future videos. This is just as I said, a quick overview, just quick um, bite-sized learning on how to uh, use your and customize your profile and what the different features mean, what the different things on your dashboard mean. Okay, so I suppose the first thing is obviously mine's already set up because I've been here for ages, but it's I suppose you're starting your new setting up a new profile from scratch, or let's suppose in my case I wanted to edit the profile. Uh, there's a few things I could do. Obviously, the first thing it would come up with is stuff where you can put personal details. These are all optional. You don't have to put a public email or a name. This isn't your um, name. This is just the small one that shows up there. That's not your username. There's a different process for changing your username if you want to do that. Again, location, personal quote, that's all optional. You get points for adding that. And pretty much everything on Tapology you earn points for, and that goes towards your belt system. Again, I'll explain that uh, a little bit later in more detail in another video. And here is anything you want to say. In my case, I was a former editor for about 9 months for the UK and MMA, UK MMA and Nordic MMA regional scenes, and then the rest of this is just various fantasy games that I keep track of. Um, Obviously, you've got a few other things like event alerts. The site will alert you to events that you're interested in, the main promotions, for instance. You can see at the top here, we've got this blue bar. This is reminding me that I've got to make picks for ACCA Young Eagle 63 locks in a couple of days. I'll get around to that at some point. Um, and these are all the ones that you can select alerts for. I've gone with all of them. Okay, you'll see that uh, Bellator is. I'll retick them, but Bellator, Dana White's Contender Series, they all um, they've been a little bit inactive, obviously, because Bellator's pretty much gone out of business, but God bless them. And Dana White's Contender Series is only a regional. Well, there's only a sort of once every a seasonal thing. More only happens once a year, really. It's like a TV series more than a promotion. Invicta again haven't had an event for ages now, but yeah, you can pick whether you have on-site alerts or email alerts too if you want to have them. I don't really want email alerts, and I didn't even realize I had email alerts for Zuffa boxing, but there we go. So anyway, I'll just save those. You can add. It's basically a way of trying to be reminded to make picks for the promotions you care about the most. Um, Obviously, going over the other bits, username. Um, Again, this is my current username. If I wanted to change my new username to that, for instance, I could do that, check availability, and it will that will change it. Not immediately, but sort of a 3 month cooling off period while it still has your old one up as well as your new one, just so that people that were following you previously still know who you are. Uh, Image, of course, is one of the main indicators, really, because when you think about users, you always regular users who've had a picture for ages, you associate that picture with them. In my case, many of you know me by my nickname as the Pink Panther. If I wanted to change that, you'd simply press upload image. That would take you to your pictures. In my case, I'm just going to upload the Pink Panther one again, just to show you how it'd work. In my case, I've got this saved under my Tapology pictures. And again, it was just update like so. Obviously, that will vary depending on how you store your images. Then you can upload both GIFs and pictures. And obviously, you can see it wouldn't have changed anything because I used the same picture, but that's how you do change it if you want to change your profile picture for any reason. Again, just go over a couple of the other bits quickly. Obviously, passwords, pretty self-explanatory for if you want to change your password for your account. And relationships, that is for the relationships with other users. For instance, this is giving a list of various users that I follow. I'll go over that in a bit more detail in just a second. And again, you can also edit these features so that you can hide posts from certain users or block comments from certain users if you encounter trolls. Uh, so there are those sort of safety measures in place as well. Okay, so that's the main the password bits and all the information bits that are for your the bits that make up all of this basically, all the stuff at the top. Your personal quote here again, that's optional. Um, Profile picture again, that's optional too. You don't have to have a profile picture. It's just most do as a way to represent them. Okay, so just a second ago, I was talking about the followers. I suppose we better start with them. On Tapology, you can follow other users, and they can follow you, and vice versa. So in this case, for instance, I've got 391 followers, and and I am currently following 616 users. Just have a look at some of my followers, for instance, and it would just come up with a list of people I'm following. You can also toggle the button here to see who follows me. Um, of course, if you wanted to follow a new user, let's go follow a new user actually. Let's do that. Let's go onto the forums, find a user I'm not following, and I'll show you how to follow them. Let's have a look. Let's go onto the forums. Do. Let's go with let's try Glory. That's a good promotion. Okay. Spider Dijon. Let's have a look at him. Let's have a look. Spider Dijon. Come over here and sit on my knee and finish your orange juice. Okay. Why not? Yeah, that sounds like an idea. But yeah, you can see he's fourth degree brown belt, so very nearly a black belt on Tapology. Been here a while. Very good pick rate actually, 75.4%. Okay, so if I'm going to give him a follow, this is how you do it. You see this button here, use where it says user not followed, blocked, or hidden. I click on this, and these are your options. I can follow the user, which is what I'll do. Just click that little uh, tick box there. If I wanted to block comments from him, I could do that, and if I wanted to hide posts from him, I could do that. There for your own safety if you encounter trolls. But in my case, I'm going to just follow him. Uh, Update relationship, and you can see I am now following him. As you can see, it now comes up in green, saying I'm following him. If I just go back to my page, it will say I'm now following 617, and he shows up here as the latest person that I'm following. Yeah, so uh, that's a good way of keeping track of your friends on the site. The next part is picks. Now, this is everything combined, all of your picks. So, whether that's UFC, other MMA, boxing, all region, everything you make picks for on Tapology, uh, that is all combined in there. So, in my case, because I have absolutely no fucking life, I have made, well, I don't know how many in total there is, but I've made 36,270 correct picks, and I have made 16,195 incorrect picks. Little win and loss ones there. That gives me a pick percentage of 69.1%. Uh, Frustratingly close to 70%, but that's why I pointed out with the other man. What was his name again? Sorry, it was DJ John or something. Um, Spider D John, yes. Spider D John, for instance, he has got a 75.4% pick rate. That's very good. I'd say the average is very much in the 60s for Tapology, but that's everything combined. So be aware if you did want to just use if you did just want to say just track UFC only picks, then um, that's not the way to track it really. If you're making other picks as well, if you're only using your account for making UFC picks, then in that case, you'll probably find a bit better. Then that would work. But if you're making UFC picks along with other picks, then you'll have to find another way of doing that. There is another way actually. There's some leaderboards down at the bottom there that will show your last 10 events. I'll get to them in a second for each promotion. But that's all of your picks combined. So all the MMA, boxing, UFC, everything. Forum posts. This shows the number of forum posts. In my case, I've made 8,590 posts to the Tapology forums over the years. If we click it, it will take us to my latest posts. Um, and this is just showing you what my latest activity is. So in my case, my last comment was in the miscellaneous thread, congratulating Spot Kling on reaching his black belt on Tapology. Um, Rankings just below it. There's two distinct categories of rankings. There are um, Tapology official rankings, and there are custom made rankings. Just click on this to show you. I haven't actually made very many of them. I don't really do rankings that much, if to be honest. So for instance, the Lucky Bastard Game Hall of Fame one that I made here, that's a custom made one because I've put my own fighters in order. That's just a way of keeping track of uh, the Hall of Fame in the Lucky Bastard game. I think pound for pound men's boxing is also a custom one. I think it might have been made by Mikey 1903, one of our boxing editors on the site. Um, but then you got things like again, top light heavyweights, for instance. That is one of the official Tapology rankings. Um, I think there are. I think the official ones are all of the uh, all of the weight classes, obviously, and then a few other categories as well, such as best fights and historical rankings and things like that. In the future, I will make a ranking specific video where I'll go over this in a lot more detail. Uh, but yeah, that's obviously you can make your own custom made rankings. You can so if you don't agree with what the UFC's official order for a certain division is, then you can put that wrong to right, make your own ones. Um, okay, so now we move on to a brief description of the belt levels. I'm currently on a Pac-Man belt, which is a custom belt. So it's not it's the main belts on Tapology. You go white, orange, blue, uh, purple, brown, black, coral, red, and then after that you go on to the various custom-made belts such as spider belts, and then a few other ones after. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but again, I will make a specific video about the belt rankings and the order they go in, and basically you progress up through the belt rankings through points. Everything you do on Tapology, you score points for it pretty much. Following people scores points. Forum posts scores points. Making rankings scores points. Everything scores points. But the big one, the most effective way of scoring points on Tapology is by making picks. Make picks, especially if you make picks for loads of different events, not just UFC, not just the main ones. If you pick all of the odds little regional events, you'll go flying up the belts ranking very quickly. Uh, so, and the reason for that is because they score the most points. Most other things, such as following someone, again, off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure how many points that scores, but it's only about 1 or 2 points, I think. It's not a huge amount. Whereas, for making picks, for instance, every obviously when you make picks, it falls into three categories. You got to pick the fighter to win, the method they're going to win by, whether that's knockout, submission, or decision, and what round it's going to be in if it is finishing inside the distance. Now, the breakdown of that is for every correct one you get 50 points. So if you pick a fighter to win, and that's the only part that's correct, you get 50 points. I suppose you picked a fighter by first round knockout and they won a decision, for instance, you'd get 50 points for that correct fighter. If you got a fighter if fighter right and a round or a method. So again, if you pick someone for a first round knockout win and they won in the first round, but by submission, that would award you 65 points. The same for if, for instance, you picked a fighter by first round knockout and they won by second round knockout. You got the method right, but the round wrong. Again, that will award you 65 points. If you pick a fighter to win by decision, and they do win by decision, that will award you 75 points. If you manage to pick a fighter correctly inside the distance, so suppose your first round knockout prediction is correct, you will get 100 points. So obviously for that, it's a perfect pick. You'll have to obviously get the fighter right, the round, and the method right. So that is it's quite hard to do, but it does happen occasionally. With me occasionally anyway. Maybe some of you it might be more common, but but that is the most effective way of scoring points on Tapology and increasing your belt level. So if your belt level is something that motivates you, that you want to progress up, my advice is just make picks, loads of picks. Um, don't worry too much about the accuracy or pick percentage. Mine probably could have been a bit more accurate with more research, but I just made. But when I first started, I just made a load of picks on random events. I don't have the time to do that these days because I was life changes and all that. So I don't have as much time as I did 5 years ago when I first started. But that's partly how I got such a high belt ranking. Really, is because just making random picks. So. Um, but everything you do on the site, as I say, does contribute towards to an extent. You can find a full breakdown of all the ways that points are scored on their FAQ, their frequently asked questions page. For instance, if we just give it a quick visit, actually, uh, belt progress, for instance, and so they're the ones for your for the picks. Uh, Again, unlocking new awards, 100 points, adding comments someone's page, 3 points, giving up votes and down votes on the Tapology forums is a fifth of a point. Uh, and it's like I say, there's too many to go over here because I'm trying to make these videos fairly short, under half an hour anyway. But there's a full breakdown of the different things you can do. And as I was saying about customizing your profile earlier, if you highlight these here, for instance, um, adding an image to your profile, that gives you 500 points straight away. Obviously, that only happens once. So, for instance, you can't just keep changing your picture repeatedly to score 500 points a time. Uh, but once you go from not having a picture to adding one, that's 500 points you score there. Personal quote, another 250 points. Adding a location to your profile, 250 points. You can gain a lot of points just by filling out those customization bits on your profile. And of course, you can put whatever you want, so it doesn't even have to be correct. So if like personal safety or security is a concern, you don't want to dox yourself or anything, you can just put like location outer space or something stupid like that. There's no requirement for it to be accurate at all. But that's a very easy way for a new user to score points. Okay, so we just go back to my profile. You can just if we're getting back to your profile, by the way, from anywhere else on the site, you can either click here where it says tapped in as Steve Terry, or you can click your little profile here. That will bring both of those will bring you back to this page. Okay, so obviously this is my information I went over earlier. This is a full list of I mainly use it for my PPC championships, which are fantasy games. Again, fantasy games another great part of the site. I'll make another video about that in the future. I'll go over that. Leaderboards. This is a relatively new addition to the site, and it's to be honest, it's not something I really pay much attention to. Again, partly I've not really had the time to get into it, and I've been using Tapology without the leaderboards for so long before it. I've not really cared too much about it. But for all the main promotions, LFA, Matchroom Boxing, Cage Warriors, Queensberry, Octagon, Contender Series, Top Rank, PFL, ACCA, Golden Boy, and of course the UFC. Um, there's different leaderboards, and it ranks your last 10 events for each of them. So, for instance, if we look at the UFC, for instance, there's different levels. For instance, I'm diamond level. Uh, the full ranking of these levels is obviously unranked, where you haven't made enough picks because you have to make picks in at least 10 events. Can, rookie, then iron, then bronze, then silver, then gold, then platinum, then diamond, champion, grand champion, and legend. So, a legend being the highest, of course. So, for instance, there's only about five people on the site. Um, Dodo 18 at the top there. And basically, what this means is that over the last 10 events, he has accumulated 6,675 points. Uh, by comparison, I've accumulated 5,670 points. That puts me in the diamond leaderboard, which is the fourth one down. So it goes legend, grand champion, champion diamond. I'll just give it a quick scroll. I won't go through all the pages, obviously, but grand champion. There's about a dozen or so grand champions there. Then there's a whole bunch of champion level people. Oh, that's quite a lot actually. And I think the number of people at each level is proportionate to the size of the event. So, for instance, a lot more people will be making UFC picks than would be making Cage Warriors picks, for instance. Uh, so yeah, and then we get on to like diamond level, which is where I'm currently sitting at. But this paragraph gives a brief description. The UFC prediction leaderboard keeps track of the Tapology users' most accurate picks aggregated across the most recent 10 events. Leaderboards only updated following full completion of each event and will not change during an active fight card. The better your picks, the higher your tier on the leaderboard will be. To have a chance at attaining the highest tiers like champion or legend, you'll need to make picks on every UFC fight. So yeah, that's basically the summary of it. Again, it's not really a part of the site that interests me, but if this is the sort of thing that would keep you motivated, then it's a brilliant addition from that point of view. So just go back to my profile page. Scroll down after that. So that's my oh yes, the awards next. Okay, so the awards are you can earn them for all sorts of different things. So I'm just gonna there's loads of different ones. So I'm just gonna hover over a few of them here. So for instance, this one is receive 100 comments. That is 100 people have commented on my profile page. And again, I'll get to that in just a second too. This is a submission perfect pick. As I was saying about making picks, I have correctly picked someone to make a perfect submission pick in the past. These ones are the most impressive. Pick slight upsets, moderate upsets, heavy upsets, and huge upset. I'm proud to have all four of them actually. um, but yeah, there's a few others that pick main card perfect in event. That's another pretty good one to have. Pick undercard perfect in an event. Build 10 rankings. Again, quite an achievable one if you're into rankings. Designer ranking, decision perfect pick. You'll probably pick up those ones fairly early on. And then you get ones like this, which unfortunately they don't even do anymore. Like make three wiki updates. There used to be each fighter's page used to have a little Wikipedia section, or where you could add information about them. I never really did it much. I've only ever made the three, I think, but I did a little bit of that back when I was a Fight Center editor, and I've picked up that award for it. But unfortunately, they've got rid of the ability to make edits to fighters' wikis, so I think those awards are now unattainable. I think there are a few other levels above that that I could have got maybe 5 and 10 uh, and hundreds or so on, but they're unattainable now. Um, but yeah, you get, and again, you every time you have an award, you score points. I think it was 100 points, as it said, for a new award. Again, it will have that in the frequently asked questions. So they're like your little military badges, so to speak, your little scout badges that your mum would sew onto your scout uniform when you were a kid. Uh, Latest posts, as I said about the forums earlier, that shows you your latest posts on the Tapology forums. And latest predictions, for instance, these show the latest picks you've made. Again, all events. In my case, this is showing my recent UFC picks. Again, this will vary depending what your last picks were. So, for instance, if I'd made picks on a boxing card yesterday night, it would come up with them. And lastly is the comments section. Now, each person has on their wall, they have they have a section where other users can make comments on their page. Now, what is a common mistake is, for instance, is take Cool Hand Puke, for instance, given he's inspired me to make this new series of videos. When you want to communicate with someone directly by sort of IMs, this is basically the closest thing that um, Tapology has to IMs, like you have with social media. Uh, it's basically if you click on their profile, you click on Cool Hand Puke, and I'd obviously I'll scroll down to his one, right to his bottom, past all his awards. So there's a little nosy. Oh, there, look at him. He's got all four. Look at that. Good stuff. Good to see. Slight upset, moderate upset, heavy upset, huge upset. Legend. Well done. Member for a year. He's got a few good ones here. A few really good ones. But anyway, if I wanted to give him a message, I'd say something like, "Hi, mate. Uh, just making first video for the series of how to use Tapology. Uh, first video series, and this comment is an example of how to comment on someone apostrophe someone's wall. Now, I'll add comments. and you can see that now comes up on his page as a comment, which if he eventually checks his profile and scrolls down and reads that, he'll see that. And again, you can have email alerts to alert you when somebody makes a comment on the wall. But what is quite a common mistake, as I was saying, is we're still on Cool Hand Puke's profile page here. If Cool Hand Puke were to see this and then immediately type in his response here, that again would come up on his page, and I'm not going to see that response. So what he'd need to do for me to see the response, he'd need to click onto my profile, go back to my profile page, scroll to the bottom, and then leave a comment saying, "Hi, uh, thanks, diddly doo dah," and then click that. And then when I next check my profile, I'll see that comment that he'd post. But obviously, if he sticks it on his own page, uh, unless I actually go out of my way to check his profile for some reason, I'm not going to see it. But and again, I wouldn't if I've got the email alert set up, I wouldn't see that. So, where possible, try and avoid replying on your own wall. Try and reply if you're having a conversation with someone, go to their profile page and type it in their comment section at the bottom. Uh, because that's how they'll see it, and otherwise you're just going to be the conversation's just going to end there basically, which would be a shame. But it's not like other social medias where it's like a text conversation where you can go back and read both messages. So you kind of have to go back and look at the each person's profile. Okay, so that is a quick whistle stop tour of the profile done. I'd already made the video a little bit longer than I planned. I'm aiming for about 20 minutes. This has gone on a bit half an hour, but as I said, there are a few things like the rankings, the forums, the and anything else the belt rankings, especially as I'll go over them in another video. Of course, if there's anything in particular you want me to go over, then I'll go over them, make a video about that. I've got a few other videos in mind. Um, if I just share a little plan I've made in Word, lesson one, user profiles. The next one would be making predictions, showing you how to make picks on the site, rankings, forums, notable threads on the forums. That's uh, probably three separate videos for the forums because that's quite a chunky topic. Fantasy games, groups, search feature, contacting Tapology. These are all things I'm hoping to make videos for in the future. Screen sharing stopped. What have I fucking done there? There we go. Okay. Yep. Am I back screen sharing again? I don't know. I don't know what I've done there. Just closed words, but anyway, if there is anything that you want me to go over in particular, then uh just let me know. Either through the YouTube comments or I'll probably post this around a few spaces on Tapology. And well, yeah, until the next video. So long for now, and have fun exploring Tapology. If you uh haven't sorted out your profile yet, have a crack at that. Easy way to score points, make your profile uniquely yours. But yeah, have fun on Tapology. Just the best way to learn is literally just explore the site. Click everything, look around, check things out, be nosy. And of course, right at the top, uh, near the log out button or the tap out button, you've got the FAQs page. Um, brilliant resource of information giving you much more detail about all of these different things here. Um, but yeah, like I say, just explore it, have fun, and I'll be making videos on other main topics on Tapology shortly. But until then, so long for now.